So how does Ayurveda look at the bodily tissues? How does Ayurveda oversimplify the tissues of the body? So when we look at the bodily tissues according to Ayurveda, Ayurveda says there are 7 tissues of the body. There are 7 dhatus. So everything that your body is actually made of, your body is made up of 7 major components: rasa, rakta, mamsa, meda, asti, maja, and shukra. And Ayurveda says that everything in the body, all the tissues of the body, can be categorized under one of these 7. So this keeps it a little bit understandable. It gives a good overview of the major components of the body. And one thing that we have that from the Ayurvedic perspective that we don't have in the modern perspective is a story. We don't have a very good story when we look at modern medicine, because there are so many things happening in one go that really becomes difficult. You can make a story out of it, but it becomes really difficult to grasp all of the formation of all these tissues happening at the same time. Becomes a little bit ununderstandable how they are related to each other. But what Ayurveda gives is a story. And the story helps us to understand this process and keep it into consideration when we are making choices for our health. So Ayurveda says that every single component of your body, your bodily tissues, can be classified under one or multiple of one of these 7 tissues. And there's a story, there is a order to which these tissues should be studied. There is an order, like many of the things that we study in Ayurveda. Also, this has an order. So rasa comes first, rakta comes second, mamsa comes third. So like this order is also important to understand. And if we understand this order, we can understand what are the factors we have to understand to keep the bodily tissues balanced and healthy. So I will just give a small translation of each of these categories of tissues. Rasa means fluid or juice, or the fluid of the body, the fluid aspect of the body. In many different textbooks, Ayurvedic textbooks, rasa is often translated as blood plasma, or that part of your blood which is fluid, the fluid medium of the blood. But rasa goes further than just that. Rasa is more than just the blood plasma. You could say that every component of your body which is fluid in nature is rasa or rasa dhatu. And it is the first dhatu. It is the most important dhatu, and it is the first dhatu. It is the mother of all other bodily tissues. If rasa dhatu is not formed properly, the rest of the bodily tissues will become abnormal. So if you have any kind of issue with rasa dhatu, it will lead to a suboptimal formation of rakta, mamsa, meda, asti, maja, and shukra. So it is paramount to ensure that rasa dhatu is formed properly, because only by ensuring that rasa dhatu is properly formed can we ensure that all other bodily tissues are formed properly as well. So what is rasa dhatu? It is the mother of all other tissues. If the mother is not nourished, she cannot nourish her children or her child as well. Similarly, Rasa Dhatu is seen as the mother of all bodily tissues. All other bodily tissues depend on good quality Rasa Dhatu. And whenever we see any issues with the quality of any kind of bodily tissue, we always go back and check if Rasa Dhatu is okay or not. Rakta Dhatu. Rakta means blood tissue. So that which causes your blood to be red is Rakta. The red component of your blood, the red blood cells. Everything in your blood to ensure oxygenation is Rakta Dhatu. Mamsa Dhatu is muscular tissue. If your blood plasma and fluids of the body are proper, only then can the red blood cells be formed properly as well. Only if the red blood cells are formed properly, only then can muscle tissue be formed properly as well. After muscle tissue, so Mamsa Dhatu, what do we have? We have Meda Dhatu. Medo means fat tissue, adipose tissue. After that, we have Asti, which means bone tissue. After that, we have that which is associated with bone tissue. We have nervous tissue, so nervous system tissue. And at the end, we have something called Shukra. Shukra is often translated as sperm or ovum. But Shukra is more than that. Shukra is the overall reproductive tissue and reproductive capacity of the human being. If a man is fertile, then their Shukra Dhatu is good. If a woman is fertile, that means her Shukra Dhatu is good. In cases of infertility, that the quality of the sperm or the quality of the ovum are not capable of fertilization, and someone is infertile, according to Ayurveda, we say that Shukra Dhatu is not okay. It's not as it should be. And Shukra Dhatu is, of course, dependent on nervous tissue, the quality of the nervous system and the nervous tissue. And that is dependent on the quality of the bone tissue, Asti Dhatu. And that is dependent on the quality of the fat tissue, Meda Dhatu. And that is dependent on the quality of muscle tissue, Mamsa Dhatu. And that is dependent on the quality of blood tissue, Rakta Dhatu. And that is dependent on the quality of Rasa Dhatu, the fluids of the body. You see, there's this interconnected play between these tissues. They are all dependent on each other. And a lot of people who are having problems on the level of Shukra Dhatu may actually have had problems on the level of Rasa Dhatu without knowing it. Therefore, they produce sub-quality Rakta, sub-quality Mamsa, sub-quality Meda, sub-quality Asta, Maja, and all the way up to Shukra. So that makes it easy for us. We know if we keep Rasa good, the rest will follow. When we look at a problem of a Dhatu from a modern perspective, someone comes with infertility problems, they just work on that level as far as they know. They don't see the complete connection with all these other tissues. When, as we look at it in Ayurveda, they don't see that you have to go further.